Welcome back, everybody, to the energy tips for week 39, 22nd of September till 28th of September, right through the equinox here in this fall in the northern hemisphere, and the spring equinox here for you guys in the southern hemisphere. Like I've mentioned in the energy update, I'm not going to talk a lot about equinox energies. These repeat every year, and there's a lot that I've written about it. I've just sent out a article explaining why, as energy workers, we want to pay attention to these times. Today I want to go through, of course, the different layers, the emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, etheric, and social aspect of this next week. But I also want to talk about something that has to do with myself. I want to share something with you because this is what I found out in this time where this collective energy becomes so much more permeable for us, where we can have deeper insights and put them into action. One of these aspects that are coming in here next week in regards to aliveness, feeling alive, feeling, ourselves, knowing who we are, all right, as I mentioned in the energy update, has to do with being awake, being conscious. But another one has to do with being in alignment with ourselves. And guys, this is really what all this is about, all right? We always start with consciously feeling and connecting ourselves so that we even know if we are in alignment or not. I found out within my own microcosm here that right now I am very much out of alignment. And how is that? How does this play out? How do you know when I'm out of alignment? I am doing 14 hours of coaching sessions every day. I'm doing 2 simultaneous healer trainings. I'm doing live webinars for the public. I'm doing, of course, the energy updates, energy tips. I'm doing webinar trainings for the Sacred Self Healing Group, and extra trainings for the Heart Warriors. Okay, and I'm giving things out for free. I'm doing explainer videos. I'm doing sometimes even publishing the energy tips for everybody. And this has shown me misalignment. Okay, this has shown me how I am not valuing what I am doing because I'm just sort of pushing it out there, thinking that everybody needs to know this. All right, and basically more or less creating frustration within myself. So this is an example for you that just seeing all this is not enough. It is also about making a conscious correction, making a conscious act where you rebalance things. Okay, so I've decided to no longer post the energy tips publicly, for instance, and I've also decided to reduce the free energy coaching sessions that I offer. These are all things that lead to me feeling out of alignment, where I get frustrated, or I cannot read to my kids because I had a session scheduled and I'm sitting there waiting for 15 minutes or half an hour. These are things that I know all of you are experiencing in one way or another, be it at work, be it in your relationships, be it with other people. And this is really what this time right now allows you to see. This is what this awakening really helps you see. That is where your frustration's coming from, where your self-worth, where it's rooted, and how your choices, it doesn't matter what kind of intention you think you have, all right, how they lead to this incongruence. An incongruence, this is like whenever you go into like an inner battle with yourself, whenever you do something that somehow from the outside seems to be the right thing, but from the inside, okay, you're actually not valuing, you're actually not respecting some of your own often needs. In my example here, the need to be there for my kids, for instance, is something that is always conflicting for me. But there can be other things as well, such as health, for instance, where you make choices that disregard or disrespect your own physical health or your own emotional health. All right. So, like I pointed out here, the repression of things, any of your emotions leads to depression. This is, the energy's got to go somewhere, and this is where, energy awareness comes in with this whole subject of self-care, because it's not enough to just understand these things. It's really important that you bring things into balance, and this new sort of wave, this new energy that is coming in here now with the equinox in this weekend will make it easier for you to go back into congruence, to go back into balance, so that you can feel more adequate. I want to illuminate here with you what these different aspects are. Let's first look at the collective, how this is playing out right now here, sort of in the news and everywhere. You can beautifully see this, all right, how there's this war of resources going on right now, whether it's our woods burning down, our coasts being flooded, oil being just blown up, you name it. Okay, this is all about resources. This is a full-on war that is going on here within sort of this realm of the powers to be in the world. And all this, okay, is nothing but the manifestation of what people have been unconsciously manifested, or what they have been unconsciously putting out there in this collective, and that is the fear of loss, the fear of survival, all right, be it in actual resources, energy, food, planet, and so forth, or in money and so forth. So everything that you see in the news right now, I want you to consciously look at this, is a manifestation of collective fear and pain. All right. So don't take this seriously, guys. This is there's a crazy making in that kind of produces this illusion to you that this is the only way to go. You have to hold on, and you have to try harder, and you have to fight, and you have to conquer. No, it is not. Divide and conquer, guys, is a manipulation tactic of power structures. All right, it is the unifying, the working together, the collaborating that actually leads to solutions. All right, and this is what we need to first work in within ourselves. Okay, understand that this boiling anger and frustration that is going around here in all over the world. You're not the only one feeling like there is no point in life, and where's the fulfillment, and where's the meaning. This is being portrayed in everything, in every song, in every movie, in the news, and so forth. All right, that this is what's steering you into this collective programming. It's making us become willing to go with these automatisms of survival, and makes us more open and more willing to agree with things such as war, or to agree with power structures that promise rescue. All right, so make sure that you understand what it is that you are energizing here, because this is also what you put into the collective, but what strengthens this collective programming in you and in others. All right. How does this translate here in our energy centers next week, in our chakras? So we still have this sixth chakra, like sort of seeing with new eyes. This is still going on in conjunction with our emotions, with how it makes us feel. Okay, so second and sixth chakra are very much in the foreground of your energetic symptoms. It's the physical feel that makes us human, that defines us, but in context with both our abilities to just be physical, to just be human, but also to be consciousness, to be a soul with a body. We're experiencing both, and they need to be balanced. They balance in our heart, so everything with our heart chakra here will continue to be important. We will have sensations, in our lungs, in our sternum, this pressure in our rib cage. All right, all this shows you that your fourth chakra is working on something. Okay, and one of the things that are or that is quite particular here in this next week is how our first chakra, our karmic propensities, this sort of soul contract level, all right, that was decided, or that we decided, that we agreed to before we incarnated. All right, this has a really, really strong impact this next week, so it will make us think about the meaning and purpose of life, and it will make us seek, what we are actually contributing here, what we are actually, leaving behind, legacy. Those things will come in for a lot of you guys. So it's a wonderful reminder, for our mission, for what we stand for the quest that we came here for. All right. Physically, there's a multitude of things that you can expect. So obviously, this energetic impact here of collective energies doesn't happen by calendar days. So just try to see this in a more non-linear way. But what will be triggered here during this time right now is, besides some of the things that we've already talked about here in the last couple of weeks, that the adrenal fatigue, this constantly being stressed out and shutting down, tiredness, exhaustion, being completely drained, that is, still going on, all right? But now you are also, and especially those of you who have been in this sort of way of living chronically for decades already, you might feel this with your thyroids, you might feel this with things that are directly now manifesting in your metabolism, all right? Sometimes you notice at first just by gaining weight, even though you've not changed anything. This is often a sign that your metabolism is slowing down. So things are not being processed efficiently, and your thyroid has a lot to do with this. Your thyroid also has a lot to do with spiritual awakening, guys. It's directly linked to your pituitary gland. And if you want to know a little more about this, then Google this a bit. But next week, I would really recommend to all of you to take a little bit of your wakefulness, all right, and look at your diet. Look at some things that you can improve. I would recommend those of you who actually have thyroid issues to go into detox next week. And there's of course many complex things here about our physiology, so you can also increase this by stimulating your lymphatic system, cold hot showers, going in the sauna, steam room, not just juicing and healthy living. Anything that is healthy for your body is also good for your emotional and spiritual health. So this is really, really important to understand. A good diet for people with, if you have thyroid issues, is first of all eliminating, like literally eliminating these packaged foods and over-processed foods, because there's a lot of substances in there that directly, inhibit your thyroid function. Obviously, if it's already farther progressed and you're already taking hormone replacement medications, discuss this with your doctor if there are ways for you to reverse it, for you to, really work on strengthening your thyroids as opposed to either wearing them out through this continual adrenal cortisol stress, all right, which can lead to this hypothyroidism, or autoimmune problems, or like going into the hyper version of it, okay, where you're still trying to control and still trying to sort of outperform your own inner processing. So spend some time to reflect on this, guys. Even if you don't have thyroid issues, those are things that are often occur a little later in life, but right now we see a very strong rise of those. Emotionally, a lot of this is linked to self-worth, to feeling adequate, not feeling fit for life, not feeling that we can handle life. All right, and this always triggers this pain, this deep pain in us, this grief, this like not feeling validated, and that's where all the frustration comes from. All right, so there is this really complex link between our emotions, our body, and our thoughts. I've mentioned this before. Neurotransmitters and all that play a role in what emotions we feel. So these people who say, oh, love is just a bunch of hormones and neurotransmitters, they are actually not incorrect, because the kind of love that we interpret as love is mostly sort of a physiological response. But of course, the true love, this deep connection with someone, deep bonding, and feeling this connectedness within, that is not something that is physiological. That is something that can come in through our consciousness, and therefore, this is why we spend so much time in explaining energy work and so forth. Therefore, energy work can be a wonderful alternative, or complement, to other kinds of therapies. So understand that your emotions need to come out. Your emotions is energy too. Yes, it manifests in neurotransmitters and hormones and all kinds of nervous reactions. But your physical part here, how you metabolize this physically, can either make it worse or can make it better. So seek exercises that really bring all your juices to flow next week. Cardiovascular stuff, aerobic stuff that opens up your fourth chakra, stuff that gives you impact, that shows you that you're here, that helps your first chakra to feel grounded. All right? Your feet do not know that they're actually on this planet until they feel that they touch it. So take your shoes off, do some kickboxing, chop some wood, do some yard work, or seek human touch. Human touch is also very, very healing for our first and fourth chakra. Mentally, this is all about expectations. This is all about, what we expect from ourselves, what we expect from others. And unfortunately, the more out of alignment we become, the more out of alignment our thinking is, and our valuing and our judging. All right. So, you go into these automatisms when you are not truly connected, and that brings in all these collective programs, but of course also these programs, these tapes, from your childhood, and critical inner voice and so forth. So whenever you find yourself in this sort of automatic thinking, automatic judging, automatic physically doing things, this is a sign for you that you are disconnected. It is a sign for you that you are not aligned. Okay? Being awake means that you are actually consciously hearing, feeling, sensing this. And I know many of you are at exactly that place. You can't stop it yet, but you're already aware. That means you are awake. That means you're conscious. Now you just got to work with that, and don't judge yourself for it. See it for what it is. It's mostly a combination of physiological, emotional, and sort of collective thought field programs, okay, that are working through you. So work with it by consciously shifting it, even if it's something that you have to do after the fact, like go back and correct. That's all right. Next week is a wonderful week to correct things, just like how I am correcting things here, as I shared with you in the beginning. In our relationships, socially, these automatisms, guys, they are what lead to most of your misunderstandings, most of your miscommunication, assumptions, a distrust, and the whole 9 yards. So my tip for you here, just like how physically and emotionally through, allowing all this to come out through impact, through like direct contact, do the same thing with your relationships, be that work, your family, or your partners. Seek eye-to-eye conversations. It's very, very important. Like be fully there, be fully present, okay? And make conscious statements. Make this a habit, guys. Instead of judging yourself for your thoughts, it's a lot easier to only, express the things that are true to you if you actually make it a habit to feel what you are saying. I often, catch myself sort of reacting, in a certain way, saying something, and then I say, well, wait a minute, let me feel this out. And then I'm actually this takes half a second or a second to feel into what I just said. And then I immediately say, well, wait a minute, that wasn't exactly how I wanted to express this, or let me rephrase this, or now that I actually feel this out, this is actually what I meant to say. That there is absolutely no shame in this, guys. This is a very, very positive and sort of constructive way of dealing with others. Okay, even when we find out that statements that we've made, whatever, yesterday or last year or whatever, that they are no longer true to us, it's totally okay to say, I know I said this, and I actually meant it then, but it's different for me now. I'm feeling this different, and I want you to know that I see your point, but I have to honor my own feelings. I have to honor my own inner signaling, my own energies. Okay? This then helps to reduce assumptions, miscommunications, and for you and both of you to become more connected, especially on this true self level that you guys want to connect on with other people. All right. Now, spiritually, this whole subject here, fulfillment, joy, and happiness, is a really tricky thing, because a lot of people think that, to be happy means to have no pain anymore, and they think that people, like myself, that report or that teach certain things, that they never have a bad day in their life, or that they don't stump their toe, like one of you heart warriors commented here this week in our Skype thread. This is, of course, not the case. But the difference between someone who's awake and conscious and who's on this who's doing this work with themselves is the contextualization, is the meaning that we give things. And so I keep reminding you guys to see every experience as a learning experience. Your conscious experience is what gives this a meaning, what gives life a meaning. All right. And you being willing to forgive yourself and to forgive others, because the value of certain experiences can't really come to us until we are ready to see, until we are ready to face things. So if you catch yourself in idealizations, in perfectionisms, in strong opinions and strong judgments, guys, that's when you know that you're spiritually out of alignment. Having opinions, being full of judgments about yourself or others is not spiritual, guys. All right, that's how simple that is. Okay, now that doesn't mean you're bad. Okay, so don't beat yourself up for beating yourself up. Okay, yeah, I know your guys' egos. No, this is you choosing to consciously being aware of what is going on, no longer resisting, letting go of this, perfectionism, this idealism. All right. And this is then also what makes you become more aware of your energetic integrity, your social integrity, and sort of what you stand for. This is what you put out into the collective. So you can sit there and bicker about collective energies, or you can take this into your own hands and make sure that you no longer contributing to those things that you bicker about. Okay, bickering is one of the ways how you do energize the collective energy, and this externalization, just as a little reminder. And then of course energetically, some of the things that I mentioned here about my own experience right now, to value your own energy, to value your own time, all these things that you have worked for so long, that you have invested in, okay? These are not things to give away lightly. These are not things that you should disrespect, okay? Because that's what makes it very difficult for the universe to deliver happiness and fulfillment to you, because it's a contradicting message, okay? So on one hand, you invest time and money and so much into like your spiritual development, your awakening and all that, and on the other hand, you just treated with disrespect, and you don't have proper boundaries, and you allow other people to take advantage of it. So that's part of conscious manifestation, guys. All right, boundary work, once more here for empaths and energetically sensitives, is super, super important. Embrace every opportunity to grow, okay, and specifically those that first cause pain or frustration in you, because there is where you can meet your resistances, okay? So that is how you can feel if you are in alignment and or not. And remember, the meaning in life, okay, comes through the alignment that you have. We have quite a few things here going on this weekend. As you know, the Karmic Collective Clearing, there's a non-guided, self-guided session, energy healing and clearing session on Sunday, going with the equinox, helping you to decouple from those collective energies. On Saturday, before that, we have a grace redemption energy session, one of my absolute favorites, learning how to go into this inner spiritual reconciliation with yourself, learning how to absolve yourselves. Very, very beautiful process. And then please don't forget, next week, I think it's on Wednesday. Let me double check. On Wednesday, 10 p.m., the 25th of September, we have the energetic tune-up. This is our monthly session to look into the future. Everyone who comes there, who participates in this session, gets an opportunity to get a live personal reading from me in the webinar afterwards. So we are basically sending these energies for October through our system to give us a little bit of a roadmap to see what the context is. Okay, so I'm not telling you what's going to happen to you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what to pay attention to. And this is the way how you can learn, to do this yourself. So there's absolutely no point in you coming to me and wanting me to tell you what to do, because that's not what's teaching you how to get into alignment. So energetic tune-up, or what I call energetic adjustment session prior, is on Wednesday and evening here in the United States. All right, guys, so take this next week as a conscious alignment week. Reset if you have to, start all over again. But see, you don't have to start all over again with what the effort is that you put in. You just have to start with a new alignment, with a new attitude towards it, with a new framework. And that's where you will find meaning and purpose without seeking. Thank you for supporting transCODES. Thank you for being a heart warrior. Thank you for all of that you put out into this world by watching and listening to this work. I see you next week. Bye-bye.